Hey, Globetrotters! Are you ready to elevate your travel game and make every trip unforgettable? Get ready to revolutionize your adventures with Passportbros app, your ticket to turning passion into profit. With Passportbros, your travel videos and posts aren't just memories, they're money makers. Share your awe-inspiring experiences with the world and watch your bank account grow with every click. But wait, there's more. Connect with a vibrant community of fellow explorers, where camaraderie knows no borders. Exchange insider tips, forge lasting friendships, and create memories that last a lifetime. And that's not all. Gain access to exclusive discounts on accommodations, from cozy boutique hotels to luxurious resorts, ensuring you can travel in style without breaking the bank. So why settle for ordinary when you can experience the extraordinary? Join the Passportbros app today and unlock a world of adventure, connection, and endless possibilities. Download the app now and let the journey of a lifetime begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man BMT in the building, and I got my man Flight Madness also in the house, and we got to discuss a real, pretty much important topic today in concerns of this Passportbros sphere or space or market, whatever you want to say. Let me get my man in here real quick. What up, Flight Madness?
Hey, man. I don't know if y'all can see, I got my Passportbros shirt on today, man. I got one of them on.
Nice. Shout out to representing, man. Yeah, we've been doing good with the merch, bro. Like, guys, really, we were doing good with the BMT merch, but the Passportbros merch really took off. A lot of guys are rocking the tees, but I also got one of your products, man. This is how we rock. I got my man Substantiality right here. All right.
Yeah, man.
This kind of like the overnight bag per se, fellas. You know, Chica somewhere, you pull up on her or she pulls up to you. But no, I'm not serious though. This is like one of the most important bags for me in traveling. The reason I say that is usually I check in all my bags, my luggage, but I always have my backpack on me. And just to have all your what you call them, perishables, like your toothpastes and your travel stuff, and because in long ass flights, man, you got to freshen up. And to have it all in a little Ziploc bag and it's flying all over your electronics, you got your toothpaste all in your electronics and stuff. You got your lube and your rubbers, everything, man. Just put it all up in here, bro. Put it all up in here. Slide down in your book bag. 4-5 hour layover, man. You trying to holler at chicks, your breath all stanky and stuff. Toiletries. That's why I meant toiletries. Guys, just Passportbros etiquette, Passportbros hygiene per se. When you're in them long ass layovers, even if you're in the American Express Lounge, I'll be in the American Express Lounge sometimes too, fellas. Go ahead and refreshen yourself up, right? Go ahead and cop that Luxology bag right there, man. There you go.
Oh yeah.
And the cool thing about it is, with guys on the app, guys selling products and stuff like that, you're starting to see a different type of traveling individual, right? You start to see guys that's on their business. Obviously they live overseas, most of them, or they frequent traveling overseas, and guys are supplementing their income by supporting other guys. For example, you bought my shirts, I bought your Luxology bag, right? Scholar, shout out Master One Teacher, even though we have a disagreement a couple of nights ago on my stream, I bought his book, right? So it's like we just kind of support each other with our little online economy, bro.
Yeah. I read Scholar's book too, his book on finance. It was pretty good. And yeah, man, it's good to support each other. Even on the app, like I'm on the app, you can send guys money. Like if you see someone who posted something really good on the Passportbros app, you send them a few dollars and say, hey, why not? Hey, you made good content. And so put out more of that stuff. It's good.
Right, man. What I did, well, not just me, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to create an environment where everybody could be successful. So we said, we got guys traveling all over the world, changing each other's lives, motivating each other, giving each other good information. We put it to where now you can monetize that. right? Because you got guys that got thousands of travel photos. Because people take hella photos overseas, and you put it on Facebook, you put it on Instagram. Of course, you can't really monetize it. I mean, you might get a few likes and everything, but people want to show support. Luckily, we are in a age where people will support you if they like you. People like the content, people like the information that you're giving. Why not get a guy $1 or $2? The guy's traveling with his kids or traveling with his boys. Hey man, here's the tip. Really like the information. He go $2, $5, $10, and we got our first payout like last month, I think, Danny. And the guy got paid like $65 on our app. Now, has the average individual made any money off of Facebook or Instagram?
I mean, I've had my videos on Facebook. I got one video I did where I was like, hey, the Philippines is kind of like America. And like, that's one of my biggest viewed videos on Facebook, like over 100,000 views or something crazy like that. Like, it gets crazy views. It's really up there. And I got basically $0 for that. Nothing. I didn't get anything, even though it's been viewed like maybe 500,000 times or something. So that just goes to show you, like, I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. The reason this guy's worth like $100-some billion is he's convinced the world to give their content for free. He doesn't necessarily have to pay for it. Now they do have, some rules of guys, monetizing some of their Facebook pages, but you're on his platform basically, or on their platform rather, and you putting out your content like it doesn't matter. It's almost like you're giving away free food or something, and the guy doesn't have to pay you for it; he takes it from you. So that's why we made it. And hopefully, usually big platforms, once they see something takes traction, they might take note and say, "Well, we need to do a tip button on our stuff too." But we'll see how it goes, man. It's like a fine little community. Like, it attracts the right type of individuals on that, and it's free.
Right.
So
yeah,
man. Somebody shout out to everybody in the chat in here early. Shout out to my man Wonderful Travels. Salute BMT. You ninjas ain't ish. As my beat voice. Shout out to my man Rona in the building. Change for the better is in the building. Red Cup Riddick says, shout out to BMT and Danny. Y'all been putting in overtime. Yeah, man, we doing our thing, man. We overseas player. We gotta put the message out. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
NBA fan. This guy doesn't like me. This guy was talking trash last week. He was like, he really didn't like me. Like, he's been following me all around the live streams. I remember seeing him on one live stream. It's like my third live stream he's on. He's talking trash, man. I got a big fan. This guy, this NBA fan. He should change his name to Flight Fan, man.
Hey, man, welcome to YouTube. Hey, welcome to YouTube. Like when I first started getting dissed and everything, and I was like, what the fuck? People just lying on me like that? But it's just, it is what it is. It's the internet, man. Now I laugh at it because let the internet say I'm a crackhead Nigerian scammer or something like that, right? Like, so I just like, hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time to think about me and do this horrible video about me, but it's all good. I don't even strike the videos down no more, bro. I don't even do nothing no more. I just let them rock. Like, if that's what you believe, then that's what it is. But it's all good. Shout out my man JJ says I send money to the chicas, not the bros. Good for you, JJ. Hey man, do your thing, man. Send them chicas. Hey, chicas need help too, brother. Shit. Why bring them back? Now that's a good topic. Now it's interesting because I'm gonna wait till a few more people come in the room before we play the Supreme Court ruling and the video by the lady. But for some odd reason, I don't know why, bro, but Passport Bros are always getting brought up in certain conversations, right? And this has been a common topic, like even in the Facebook groups. Hey man, bring her back. As a matter of fact, we had a guy that brought back, I believe she was a Colombian woman or Costa Rican, but she was definitely a Latina, and it was an older gentleman for sure. And he was just giving us his story. And I don't really put too much information on YouTube in the private Facebook group because I don't know if people want to put their stuff out there like that. But he was saying that they was together for about 2 years and she broke bad. Right? She broke bad. Also, another story was from Rampage Jackson. I don't know if you ever heard this story, but this kind of ties into the Asia thing a little bit. Rampage Jackson was married to a Japanese woman. Did you know that? You know what Rampage Jackson is, right? The fighter. The famous UFC fighter, Rampage Jackson. No, come on.
Not sure, man. Rampage Jackson.
You ain't heard of Rampage, brother? Hold on, let me.
I thought he was a wrestler. When you talking about Rampage, sound like WWE, man.
Rampage Jackson. All right, hold on. This guy was probably one of the UFC stars at the forefront. All right. All right, this guy right here, very popular fighter, really good record.
Oh yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah. So he was married to a Japanese wife, I believe, and I'll try to find that clip in a moment. He was married to a Japanese wife, and he brought her back to America. Right? He brought her back to America. He brought her around his circle, which I always tell guys, hey, be careful with bringing your lady around your even if they family members, be careful because women kind of have this beehive group thinking thing they do. And I think Rampage exerted his not masculinity, but his patriarchal beliefs around his family of women that come from the matriarchy. And he asked his Japanese wife to fix him a sandwich, and his mom was just like, "Oh, you ain't got to fix him no damn sandwich." And that right there, the Japanese woman started to try, she started to mimic the women that she was around per se, and it went to hell from there, from his own standpoint, from his own accounts. All right. Matter of fact, let me try to find that. Then, if you want to read some of the chats or respond to them, let me find that video because I want to play that video real quick.
Some guy says he likes the painting in my background. Is that a subliminal? I'm not sure a subliminal meaning, but yeah, I like abstract art. These are the art I did like when I first came to China. And some of those are from like old girlfriends. They did art too. They did some art for me. Oh yeah, for you guys who are in Thailand, man, I bought my tickets today. I will arrive in Thailand on Sunday evening. And I'm heading straight to Pattaya, man. I'm heading straight to Pattaya, I'm handling business as soon as I get down there, man. I'm not screwing around, man. You already know where you're gonna see me. You already know what I'm gonna be doing, man. But yeah, straight to Pattaya.
I love Envato Elements because it is a one-stop shop for me as a content creator, so I can create videos.
To me, I feel like the additional stress that I would feel as a
result. Hold on, I almost got it queued up.
We hear the sound, Aaron. We hear like some kind of advertisement.
Yeah. I'm queuing it up.
Yeah. And Nak Meezy, man, I've been seeing you on all the live streams, man. I was just on a live stream. Was it BMT's live stream? Some live stream I was watching where you got. Oh, yeah, it was like the African guy. Like I think BMT, you did like a live stream with an African guy. I think Nak Meezy kind of got into it with the guy. So yeah, I remember that. It was like a couple days ago.
No, he was Nat was talking about me, the Muhammad Ali in the background. Says, that was for BMT. He's supposed to be training boxing. Hey, I'm on it, brother. I'm on it. I am on it, man. I'm on it. You see what's going on in the background. But Nat, I mean, we gotta have a whole stream about that, man. I'm still frustrated about the little fight that didn't happen. But we'll talk about that on another stream, bro. We gotta clear that up. All right. So this is Rampage Jackson real quick, and I think I can't play a lot of this. This is fair use, family. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. Let me see if I can kind of skip through it a little bit.
Recognize what type of watch it is and what those are fun women. Those are not the serious women.
Right. I look at those women like ninjas that I'm trying to avoid. Like when I go to the club in Miami and I see these chicks who just have BBLs and they just stand around just looking at dudes and stuff. Like to me, those are like enemies. Like I just assume you have the worst possible. Serious enough to give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's kind of different too. I don't know.
So tell me this: how would you feel if like one of your friends beat off to your girlfriend?
Okay, that's weird. Hold on.
One of the girls, very attractive, very nice. You never think that, but she told me that she likes to get gangbang like a
homie energy.
I'm just putting all the wrong
energy
clips up.
I have no reason to do.
All right, that's not the clip I wanted, man. I'll find it. We'll talk about it. But I'll find it. But basically, in the clip, he was saying that he brought his Japanese wife back to America and she just changed on him. That's basically in a nutshell what he said. All right. All right. Somebody said, who doesn't know Rampage? Long game, short game, same game. All right. So, what's your opinion on that? Let's go for that. What is your opinion on bringing women back to America?
Okay, on this Rampage thing, he kind of brings up a good point that I didn't think about, because for me, I'm not too close to my family. Like, they don't know, like like, I haven't really given them any instructions on how to behave if I ever bring a woman around. I have introduced my mom just over video to like a girlfriend or two that I've had, but it's like it brings up a good point that the people in your family, honestly, man, sometimes the people in your family, they might not have as much respect for your opinion and your, like, what you want, as compared to like a stranger, right? Because it's like your family, they grew up with you, so maybe they feel like they have like a level of like comfort with you where they might not take you too seriously. So for him, even though he's like a very successful UFC fighter, he brought his girl around, and she's like, we hear some kind of advertisement.
Bro.
Japan.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even though I got that guy's like a successful like UFC fighter, his family clearly didn't respect him enough to like not invade his relationship with his girl. Like he's trying to get a sandwich made, trying to get something cooked, and they tell him, nah, man, don't do that for him. Like, even though he's like a successful, probably millionaire UFC fighter, his family might not have that kind of respect for him. So you just gotta like set your family straight, set some boundaries, let them know how things are gonna be if they want to be, especially if they want to be in your life. I couldn't imagine, like, I bring my girl around my family, they do some stuff like that. I'm probably gonna cut them off even further. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the way, I don't know if it's similar to men. I think men are more like their own little independent thinkers to a certain degree. But if you're a guy and you bring your foreign girlfriend who's more traditional around your more modern family, and she does something traditional, they might look at it like it's a slight towards them per se, because they don't want their men to require certain things. So there's, they might say something to her to get her to say, hey, man, we don't do all that in America type shit, right? And that could be an issue. That could be an issue because the way women more so want to kind of blend into the society that they're living in more than the men. The men are more so like, we're going to be who we are regardless of where we at in the world. Whereas the women, and I've seen this even in Thailand, where I see sisters that come from America that are pretty Western and modern, of course, they start to kind of soften up a bit because the environment requires it, right? It just requires it because all the women are doing traditional things. They're cooking, they cleaning, they just, what I'm saying? They submitting to their man. And so the woman, like, okay, if I want to find somebody, obviously he's not going to be Thai, but if I want to find a guy, he's used to this standard. So I have to adjust to this standard, right? So if you flip that around, you take the foreign woman to America, then the same would apply. All right, let me just super chat real quick by my man Nat Measy. Shout out to Nat, man, with $11 super chat, man. The first super chat of the day. I really appreciate that. Breaking news: talks are now ongoing without the trolling. Yoga versus Nat Measy, Pattaya, Thailand, October 31st. Now, Nat, is this the official announcement? Why we got Rampage up on the screen? Is this the official announcement? Because I mean, you guys been pushing this shit back for 2 years now, bro. What I do is I bring you. See, if I feel like if I bring you and Yoga on at the same time, it's going to get to that level of trolling each other again. I don't want to do that. I want to keep this one more professional. So we'll talk behind the scenes, though, Nak. I think you got my info, man. We'll talk behind the scenes on this one. But appreciate the super chat, my brother. All right. All right. Big Mike says, I'm in the States right now with my Chilean wife. Nationals can enter the U.S. without visa. I'm introducing her to my family, BMT Travels. What up, Big Mike? All right, man. Shout out to you, man. Congrats to you. All right. All right. See, these guys getting to the mix deep. With the K visa, too, aren't you agree with supporting them for like 10 years? Yes, you are. You got to pretty much support them. But I think the Supreme Court just changed all that shit. I think the Supreme Court just kind of ruled on something that is really going to change the aspects. We're going to play that video real soon. If you're not ready to be a husband, then no. All right. Shout out my man is J. Clyde. Salute. J. Clyde, would you bring your foreign girl back to the States, brother? All right. Matter of fact, let's get some crowd participation in real quick, man. Hit a 1 if you are willing to bring your foreign girlfriend or foreign love to the States. 1, yes. 2, hell to the no. All right. That's 1 if you're willing to bring your foreign girlfriend back to the States to live. All right, not just to visit, but to live, to relocate back to America. Or 2, if hell to the no. We got 2s in the building. Flight, he's like 2. Somebody said put 2,000. So Flight, you want to bring her back to the States at all, or just you don't plan on living in America?
I'm not gonna be living in America. Like we could travel there. Like I could take her to LA. You know, like especially a lot of Asian girls, Chinese girls, they want to go to LA, see Hollywood or maybe Chicago. But to live, nah, because like it's just too many bad things can happen. I got a story I'll tell you guys a little bit later.
Okay. You know, I know it's like the biggest brand out there is New York, man. Like they always wear them New York Yankee hats. At least I don't know too many other places, but 1 to visit, later to stay. All right. My man, Mr. Blackwell put 2, 1 for a visit. That's it. Western Matrix, good luck mindset 2. We got 2s. I believe the 2s win this one, family. I believe the 2s win this one. All right. Let me play this little clip from Fresh and Fit, man. Fair use. All right. Fair use. Oh, then they doing it like that in China?
I never had a girl brush my teeth. I never asked. Like I think that'd be kind of weird. I don't think I'd want that.
Okay. I'm talking about the the bathing thing and all that. They doing it like that out there?
Yeah, I've heard guys get that. Yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah, I mean they can do that. They can wash you some. They can do. They take care of you.
Okay. The first comment says, first rule of Passport Bros, don't bring them back.
Wow.
We get mentioned everywhere, bro. All right. So hold on, let me see. Crazy on that. That's crazy, bro. It seemed like he went left because he brought it back to the States, bro. That's what
yeah. I remember that video. I remember that video you talked about. Yeah, I remember seeing that post in the one of the Passport Bros groups. Yeah, like basically he brought his girl to the States and brought him around his family, and then like family, like soon as she starts like being submissive or like making him something to eat, I guess the women jumped in and said, hey, we don't do that over here. And I guess that maybe could have gotten her head some. So his family was kind of out to I don't know if they were out to ruin his relationship, but like maybe they didn't want their husbands getting any ideas.
Basically. That America is something else, man. Let me catch some of these super chats real quick. I got my man, the $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. But my man Shao Khan, he says, I am Nigerian. Shout out to my Nigerians out there. I can tell you, do not bring your Nigerian wife to the West. What? There is a huge thing on TikTok of Nigerian men complaining their wives changed when they brought them to the West. Damn, that's interesting. That's very interesting, man. Because when we looked at from the outside looking in, especially in Atlanta, like everybody's cool. Most time we interact with Africans, it's going to be like on some, we go into their stores or something like that. But you assume that they're pretty traditional by the way they're dressed, right? Because they dress differently. But I thought the issue was usually when it's the next generation, not the ones you bring over per se, but the next generation of kids that grow up in our American school system. Now, those girls are going to be pretty much American or Americanized, right? But that's interesting, Shao Kahn. That is interesting. You know what? It's just not Nigerian guys doing that either. It's guys all over Africa doing that. I think it's like a little Passport Bro movement going on within the Eritrean East African thing too. I don't know if you saw that TikTok video of the guy saying that that he pretty much don't date the Eritrean American women.
For Nigerians, I heard like a lot of them Africans, they don't date outside of like Africans, right? Like they aren't interested in dating like the American black guys. So it's kind of interesting to hear like, okay, Nigerians, they're they're becoming more westernized or something. Because based off what I heard, they kind of look down on us like Black Americans.
Listen, man, I messed with a chick. I ain't gonna say dated, but I was messing with a chick from Somali, real pretty chick, and she would never ever tell her family that she was messing with a Black American guy.
Mm.
You know, I mean, she's still Black. She look a little different, of course. She looks more like on the Ethiopian side, but you know, we like the same complexion and everything. And I was just like, wow, is it really that serious? She was just like, they might even honor kill me or something. She was saying, she's like, yeah, they'll really don't, you know, have that. So, you know, it is what it is. But at the same time, sometimes I think, Danny, I'd be like, I don't blame them, right? Because our community has been through a lot, and we only understand some of the trials and tribulations. Only we can understand and identify with that. They're going through a different trial and tribulation over there where they at, but they come over to our country and they think like, oh, you guys are walking on gold. What's the problem? They don't know that, hey, you know, they burnt our towns down in Georgia 100 years ago in Oscarville. They burned down Rosewood. They burned down Black Wall Street, Greenwood. Like they you know, we've had things that have been taken away from us to put us in this position. Not saying that we can't be successful as an individual, but as a collective, they don't allow Black people to progress collectively, only individually. You know, so that's where it kind of gets, because they don't know. They just think that, oh, you guys are just lazy. You guys complaining about things that happened hundreds of years ago. Well, you know, we're fighting over there, and we're gonna come to your country, and we're gonna outperform you. Yeah, I mean, you guys, you know, got your own little allowance. Like when I was doing business off of Buford Highway in Atlanta, when I was buying socks and shirts, and I was, you know, selling a lot of merchandise. This is years ago. This is like decades ago. I was talking to one of the guys. He was like, why don't you just up your orders? You selling a lot. Why don't you just up your orders? You coming to me weekly, just up your order. And I'm like, well, I don't have the capital to give you $30,000, $40,000 right now. And he was like, oh, just go to your bank. I'm like, American banks don't work like that. They do, but it's not like I can be Chinese and go to a Chinese bank on Buford Highway and they're like, hey, I got this. This is what I'm doing. These are my sales. Give me $40,000 so I can increase the springboard. You know, I can use this money to springboard my company, my business. It's not that. It is simple, however, get your credit right and all that, but it's just certain things at play. Because I remember when I was making a whole bunch of sales, and I caught a major bank stealing from me, literally stealing from me, dude. I couldn't believe it. Regions Bank or some shit, and they banned me from the bank when I called them out on it. I literally called them red-handed. I was like, yo, why are you trying to overdraft it? Why are you doing this to my business account? Like, I'm literally seeing this shit on my business account. Like, you know, I'm seeing the withdrawals, I'm seeing the overdraft. I'm like, why would you see the pending transaction being this amount of money? It is this amount of money in there. You tell me that it's not that amount of money. They were doing a lot of little slick shit, right? That's some things you got to worry about. But let me get a super chat by Umi Yedwa. Hope I pronounced your name right. With $10 super chat. Wait, bros, getting treated like King of Zamunda over there. I thought the sex imbalance made them ladies have high standards. I heard dudes was spending to get chicks. That message is for you, my man. Right, man.
Yeah, I think he's referring to like the comment we talked about women washing us. I mean, yeah, man, you can get good treatment from women, but it's definitely reciprocal. Like it's way less. So I feel like in some of these countries, like a lot of these guys, they get the impression that you're just high value just based off being a man. And like it doesn't really matter anything else. Like women will treat you like a king just for being a man. And I guess maybe in some countries that's true, but really, and I guess more developed countries, especially like China, you kind of need to, you get what you give, and you kind of have to give a lot sometimes for certain types of women. So, you're definitely spending money. The more beautiful the woman is, more likely spending money definitely helps in my experience. Being a cheapskate, and you definitely need to bring something to the table besides just being like a man or American passport. But yeah, you can get women to treat you good, man. Guys seem to be pretty happy. I know lots of guys who are in happy relationships with Chinese women. Or I know a few anyway. I know a few.
It's interesting, man, because I think the dating standards are so much different coming from America, in particular, like the dating standards of the Black community, which is pretty much very monetized right now. Like the women now are asking for cash outs for phone numbers and shit. But I think sometimes this is like a generational thing too, because we came from this R&B simp, era to a certain degree, the Love Jones era, where we didn't really lead with our wallet per se. We would court a woman for a few months or whatnot, and then she would like us, and it wasn't just such a money thing. But when you go overseas, you got to understand that dating practices are much different, and hypergamy exists in every single inch of land around the world. Hypergamy exists, and in some cases, yeah, these women want to see where your money at. And I think that's like an adjustment that guys got to make. Like, oh, you just want me for my money? Hey, man, you're an older guy. You're in your 30s and shit. That's what you're going to come across more so. Shout out my man, Black Man Travels. Most, speaking on this topic, have no real experience in dating women overseas. Black man coming in here, always throwing shots. Not at us, but he's just always just throwing shots. Dated several Africans while in Chicago, no issues. All right, shout out my man, Black Man Travels. Black Man Travels. Shout out to my man, Black Man. If you want to pull up, I know you mostly busy during the day, brother, but if you're welcome to pull up anytime, Black Man Travels. Shout out to my man, Kanal in the building. All right, Shao Khan with $2 super chat says, to me, the only group of women that stay loyal to their men when they come over to the West are Indian women. They have the lowest divorce rate in the world, like 2%. Any divorced Indian people. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But I will say that you're talking about the women that are literally coming over with their husbands or being sent over with their husbands that don't have a lot of freedom or independence per se. They have no real way to supplement their income because they have more of a small business where they'll be working with their husband. For example, I used to work with a guy who had like several wives, 3-4 wives. Some of them weren't even in the country. He's sending them money. They'll eventually come, but they all worked for him. So that's just a different. Now, the thing is, the women, the second generational women, right? The second generational women, it's much different. It's much different. And a lot of Indian women now in the States that are born in America or been in America that have these software degrees and everything, they bucking a little bit. I can tell you that for sure. I remember taking a chick to the airport one time, and she was telling me, "Yeah, I gotta arrange the marriage. I really don't want to do it. I'm enjoying myself, I'm having my fun. I really don't need him. I'm only 25 years old." And like her whole mindset has been Americanized because she's been in America for like 15 years. Trump kicked her out, kicked, a lot of foreigners out. Every time the Republicans hit office, they kick everybody out the country. A lot of people don't know that. But when Republicans hit that office, man, they kicking people out. Matter of fact, Trump kicked a lot of Brazilians out too as soon as he hopped in office back in like was it like 2017, 2018 or something? He got elected somewhere around there. He kicked a lot of people out. But yeah, I mean that's true though. That's true. A lot of the Indians are kind of more tied into it economically to a certain degree. But if women have options, if they got options, bros, and they listen to they listen to our music and shit. All right, shout out to my man Drew with the $4.99 super chat. Says Filipina P. One of the biggest YouTubers in the Philippines said, "Don't bring them back if you want to remain the prize." Shout out to Filipina P. Yeah, you watch some of her content?
Yeah. I watched a few of her videos before I went to the Philippines. Yeah, I mean, she seems like, honestly, man, I feel like a man writes her script. I don't know if a woman would say all the stuff that she's saying. I feel like she has like some kind of ghostwriter who's a man. Maybe it's like her husband or something, or her boyfriend. But yeah, her stuff is pretty good. She seems to tell it how it is.
You know what's interesting about the Filipino P, man, is I had a show called Plantation Bros one day, right? And I seen it like a week later on her thumbnail, like Plantation Bros and all this. And then I think she got the Passport Bros terminology from me too. So you're right. Somebody's definitely, and it might be her. Filipino P is cool. I gotta bring her on the show actually one day. But yeah, she definitely takes a lot of our terminology and stuff like that. She has a huge channel, by the way. Shout out to Filipino P. And I appreciate that super chat. Drew with the $4.99 super chat. All right, we got 128 guys in the room. Make sure to come in and hit that like button. Let me read a few comments. We're gonna play the video at hand. Black Man Travel says, "Funny folks speak on something with no real experiences. Most guys are dating pros and do not have time to pursue something more than just a smash." All right. Big Mike says BMT Indian families disown their daughters for dating Black American men. This is 100% true. They don't deal with us, but their families are cool with their daughters bringing over a white guy. Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. I know that. I've dated a lot of Indian women in the States. I dated a lot of Indian women in the States. And I never met their parents. I was never able to meet their parents. All right. AJ Clyde says, Black Man Travels, right? I think Black Man Travels is talking about the populace of guys doing the vacation thing. He's not talking about actual expats that live overseas. All right. All right. Chris Boo says, American dating and people come with a high ignorance level you got to deal with. AJ Clyde says, fellas be having zero sustained success overseas relationship, talking about don't bring them back to the States.
This is funny. It's fun. This comment's funny. I think it's true. It is true. Like a lot of these guys, they can barely keep a relationship sustained over here overseas, and they think, they think that there is an element of like blaming other things, like no accountability. Like, okay, like maybe like Black Man Travels was saying, like you probably didn't vet properly, first of all, and also maybe you also are bad at you're bad at relationships. So changing things up and like taking them to like a whole new country, that just makes things, you're just adding more making things more chaotic. But yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Black Man Travels and Jay Clyde, they always come in there bringing the real. Shout out to It's Jay Clyde. Me and my lady in Cambodia have been together for 7 years, buying a house. We started a business. No desire to ever bring it to the States to live. Hell, I don't want to even live in the States. And that's another thing. A lot of passport bros actually don't want to live in the States. I will put that out there for a moment. I don't want to forget about that part. Like a lot of guys is kind of cool with the States, man, living in the States. All right, I want to play this video right here. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me click this off. Go DJ. All right, here we go. Okay, give me a second. All right, so this video is titled Supreme Court Ruling U.S. Citizens Can't Bring Non-Citizen Spouses to the U.S. This is a very interesting video by Lisa Cabrera. All right, she has 158,000 subscribers. You guys can sub to her. She does a lot of stuff about legal stuff about overseas and marriage and all that. And she mentioned the Passport Bros, of course. All right, now I was just looking up some information about this new ruling by the Supreme Court. I had no idea she even mentioned Passport Bros, but I keep telling you, we stay rent-free in everybody's heads, Danny. We stay rent-free, man. All right, so let's see what she got to say. Hold on, let me take this out. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
It sounds muted. I don't hear anything.
Yeah, it's muted for some reason. Hold on. Matter of fact, give me a second because it's muted. Okay. Let me. Why is it still muted? Hold
on. Speaking of Indians, I had some Indian coworkers. They were also really big on that arranged marriage thing. They seemed pretty happy about it. So,
I mean, arranged marriage is more like.
No, BMT got kicked out. I guess it didn't play because BMT, his internet, his Dominican internet is probably bad. So yeah, but basically, BMT isn't here. But basically, yeah, I had some coworkers. I was on a research team, had some Indian guys there, and I think those guys are really big on the arranged marriage. And they seem pretty happy. Like I think a lot of those guys, they might even be like virgins until they get married. So like, it's really about business. I think those Indian marriages. So for you guys who like, I think that's like if we're talking about transactional. I think those Indian marriages might be somewhat transactional. Like it's about business, man. So it's like, the part of the business deal is like, hey, I expect some nookie because, and I think they might actually put that in the agreement probably. And yeah, how many of you guys, I know a lot of you guys over there in Latin America, man, y'all need to come over here to Asia, man. BMT, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I know what I did wrong. It doesn't. The video actually doesn't have any audio. I don't think. Hold on. I don't think the video has any audio.
I remember watching it. It had audio. I heard the woman's voice.
Okay, I'm about to do it from the browser. No worries.
Okay.
I got you. I got it. What were you saying about Indian women?
Oh, I was just saying, like, I had some coworkers on a research team. They were Indian guys, and they were really big on the arranged marriage thing. And I think, if we're talking about transactional relationships, probably Indian marriages are probably the most transactional because it's really about business and family. I think, I think because a lot of those guys, I think they might even be virgins until they get married. I think like one of the guys on my research team was like a virgin, never touched a woman, but he's like super excited about the arranged marriage.
Man, you should see some of their movies over there. You talking about worship white women, but god damn, they got whole entire films about white women. That's an interesting culture over there, bro. I will say that. I will say that at least. Like whatever them folks did when they colonized it, it worked brilliantly. It worked brilliantly. All right, let's go ahead and get to this Supreme Court ruling. U.S. citizens can't bring non-citizen spouses to the U.S.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court made
you can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting ruling. And I mean, I think this impact the passport bros? I'm just saying, Supreme Court says U.S. citizens don't have the right to bring non-citizen spouses to U.S. They've been making a lot of rulings lately. So this is a recent one. Americans don't have the fundamental right to have spouses admitted. So you want to marry someone from another nation and then bring them here to the U.S. to live? They're saying not so fast. But isn't that the whole premise of the passport, bro? But I mean, not unless you plan on living in their country, then I guess you're okay. But if you want to bring them back here, the Supreme Court is saying, I don't think so. So the Supreme Court ruled this past Friday that U.S. citizens don't have a fundamental right to have their non-citizen spouses admitted to the U.S. The court decision was 6-3. Along ideology lines, it ruled against a California woman who sued the State Department and claimed her rights were violated because her Salvadorian husband, his green card application was denied without explanation.
Now it's interesting, and I don't know if I'm froze. Okay, I think my internet's good. Can you see me? Am I good?
You're good, man. You froze for a minute, but now you're good. Like everything, the audio is fine. Your picture just froze for a couple of seconds, but it's fine.
Okay, so it's interesting that she mentions Passport Bros, but the incident that took place was actually a woman trying to get over her Salvadorian husband. It had nothing to do with a guy trying to bring around, his Brazilian or Colombian wife or Thai wife. This is actually something a little different. But let's continue with the video.
The court rules, they said, is a blow to Americans that want to marry foreigners. U.S. courts have already drastically limited Americans' ability to challenge visa denials. Wow. So Americans cannot challenge visa denials in court. But Friday's decision further limits the grounds on which they can sue. So they're saying you do not have the right to have your foreign spouse here. That's what they're saying. Writing for the majority, Justice Amy Coney Barrett said Congress is free to write immigration laws in a way that gives priority to family unification, but the Constitution doesn't require such policy. This is an area in which more than family unity is at play. Other issues, including National security and foreign policy matter too, Barrett wrote. The Biden administration had urged the court to rule against the couple, a move that angered some pro-immigration groups. Okay, so there was a case brought by Sandra Munoz, a U.S. citizen living in California who works as a worker rights attorney. So in 2008,
She's actually an attorney. Okay.
she met her husband, who is from El Salvador, and he was a citizen, of course, in his native land, who was living without authorization in Los Angeles. So they married in 2010, had a child together. She eventually sought a spousal visa for him during the final stage of their process in 2015. He was required to travel from Los Angeles to the U.S. consulate in El Salvador for an interview. He has been stuck in El Salvador ever since. The State Department denied his application, citing a statute that allows the U.S. government to turn away applicants who could be engaged in illegal activity.
Oh, I want to point that out. I want to point that out right there. It looked like the guy might have had some form of a record or something. What do you think about that, Danny?
So there are a couple things. One of the guys pointed it out. I think his name's Jay. He said that the guy was staying illegally in America for years. So he was staying. I remember he said something like he was staying unlicensed or something. So basically, he seemed like he was staying illegally in America. And then when they came to apply for the whatever, the marriage certificate or green card or something, he had to go back to El Salvador, and then basically, all this other stuff kind of piled up. So him having, I don't know if they mentioned that already, him having tattoos. Apparently he has some kind of tattoos that kind of might symbolize he was probably in a gang or maybe in a gang. I'm thinking the government probably knows some stuff that they are not telling us. Because I don't think this is just I don't think they would just accuse some random guy of being a gang member. I mean, they could, but I think they probably know some stuff that we might not know. But yeah.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to my man Shao Khan once again with a $5 super chat. Get an excuse to not bring a woman over to the West. Just tell her it's not my fault. The government says no. You're right. I remember when I was back in Medellin, and I was dating I had my little chick, Afro Paisa chick, and I would purposely show her movies like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, and she was like, "Oh, this is really America?" I was like, "Yeah, man, America is bad. You don't want to go there."
Shao Kahn. So the thing is, a lot of guys, it kind of, if we're talking about attracting women based off being an American, this doesn't really work in our favor. It being very difficult for foreign women to come over to America, that does not make us more attractive. That makes us less attractive. So basically, if they make it difficult, if they make it so that you can't bring women over, basically a lot of guys who are trying to flex their passport say, women like me because I'm American. They think I might take them back to America. This kind of works against you. Even here in China, a lot of girls, they know that it's difficult for Chinese people to get into America. So I don't know if that works in my favor. I think that kind of works against me, unless the girl really, really has some kind of American fetish. I don't think most women that I meet, they don't realistically think that they can come back to America with me,
Yeah. It's interesting, man, because I know of some stories of some guys from Houston bringing back Thai chicks, and the Thai chicks kind of getting the hell on them after about a year or two. To get to Houston, they kind of hit the streets. I have heard of that, but it's also about, any woman can break bad, bro. She could be have a master's degree and be a banker or something. She can still break bad, but I still think you got to kind of validate women to a certain degree, right? You got to not pick necessarily the bar girl to bring her back to the States. And I think in some cases, some guys do that. And fam, I just dropped a link in the chat. I don't know if your man is still available, but I did drop it.
Oh yeah, his link, his username is Asia Dating Experts. I want to get his like opinion on this because I think he has like a lot of interesting stuff he can say. So if you see Asian Dating Experts back there, he might be the guy. That's definitely him.
Okay, all right. Felipe says also this guy was working in the U.S. illegally, so when he left, so basically the guy tried to leave and come back. But unfortunately, they didn't let him back in under the spouse.
Yeah. Someone says people want what they can't have. Yeah, but like if they know they can't have it, so I don't know if that's like referring to what I said about people want to come to America because they can't have it. I mean, if a girl knows she can't have it, that kind of makes you a less attractive option compared to other countries. Like I'm not sure. I need to check like the visa laws for Europe, but I think overall probably Europe is maybe easier for like girls to immigrate to compared to America, probably almost certainly. So it's like, Europe, they have pretty good image in the media in terms of how like the Europe, like it just has really positive associations. So the fact that it's easier for girls to go there, that kind of works in the benefit of Europeans. So your country being difficult for girls to go to, that does not really play into your favor.
You know what's crazy to me? All the Venezuelan women that was in Medellin popping up in America, right? I was just like, how y'all getting to America like this? Like it just, but they have some type of way where I guess if they get there, they can stay there or something like that. It's something going on because it's a lot of women from Venezuela that were doing the same things in Colombia that are now in America. And that's like a big one in our group. Like when the guys get upset and when the girls be posting them all in New York and Manhattan and all that. Some of the guys be like, man, how did she get to America? Somebody brought her there. And literally once the guy brought her there, she kind of just went off on her own or went into her little subsector culture that was there already in New Jersey and New York. I have seen that happen as well. Like a guy will sit there and he'll wife up a party girl in Medellin or something. And he'll bring her back to America thinking that he got him a good housewife. And then she gets with her little her own culture, and vamps out on him. I've heard about that happen many times. If Indians were open, I think India would be the best country for passport bros for marriage.
Nah,
yeah, very
get out of here.
to their own kind. Yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
Wait, the best country for passport. First of all, if you've seen any Indian movies, they like I don't know, like you're saying it's the best country for passport bros and they're colorist. I think those statements don't match up. I think those statements are kind of opposite. Cause like if you watch an Indian movie, the types of Indians who are like the stars in Indian movie, they're always like light skinned Indians. Like I don't think I've ever seen any Indian movies where it's like a darker skinned Indian who's like the lead role. Like usually the stars usually lighter skin, so I think they definitely have that kind of white worship going on over there. But basically I've never heard anything good about traveling to India, and I haven't heard anything really good about Indian women, no offense, but it's like I heard the hygiene isn't that great. So yeah, I don't think the best country for passport bros. No, I think you have to drop your life standards pretty low, I think.
Is your man's name Martin? Is his name Martin?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show, Martin. Let me read this chat real quick. T Mac says, my ex-wife came to America from Japan and she turned feminist. Goddamn T Mac. All right. Welcome to the show, Martin.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I graduated from Howard in 2000 and moved to Japan, and I've been living in Asia ever since.
Okay.
And I was dating coach for about 17 years, and I was featured on one of Danny's videos.
Yeah, the Game Abroad video.
I seen that, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, what you think about this? About what we're speaking on today? Should bros bring their foreign women back to the States?
So I think there, you need to think about first the country the girl comes from. I think it really depends. That's a big factor. So, in general, Japanese, for example, they do not do very well outside of Japan. They really are not so adaptable. But like Chinese are more adaptable to other countries. I mean, I wouldn't take a Japanese girl to any other country, period. Like not back to the US. I wouldn't take her to almost anywhere. But like Chinese, they're much more adaptable. They can go to other countries much more easily and not feel out of place or feel insecure, or they can just deal with, because China is such a chaotic place already, and it's already very diverse. So I think for them it's much easier. But in general, I think that it's not a good idea to get involved with a girl who doesn't like her own country, because if you have a girl who doesn't like her own country, there's kind of something off about her. And I think a lot of guys, when they go to those countries, they meet a girl and they go, oh yeah, I really want to go to America. They think that's really good. But I generally see that as a red flag, because it means she doesn't fit in her own country. And if she doesn't fit in her own country, then something's off about her, very likely, and we need to look out.
Okay. And have you been to any other countries around Asia?
Oh yeah, I lived in Japan for 9 years. I lived in Taiwan for 10 years. I've been living in Thailand for the past 2. But outside of that, I've been to China loads of times. I used to go to China 4, 5, 6 times a year. I've been to Korea. I used to go there 4, 5, 6 times a year. I've been to Cambodia. I've been to Indonesia. I've been to where else have I been? Anyway, I've been to most of Asia.
Okay, so out of all those countries, because you mentioned Japanese don't do well outside Japan, if you had your choice, which choice would you make to bring a woman back to the States if you had to?
If I had to take a woman back to the States, which country would I choose her from?
Right.
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, I would say that. Okay, so personally, I don't really like Chinese culture much. So, I mean, I'm just not interested in being with the Chinese girls. So that's out for me. But I think that if you were going to take one of them back, that's really difficult. I think it's, that's really difficult. I mean, if you had to, maybe I would take a Japanese, just if you really had to, because they're a lot more predictable. I think they're more predictable than girls from other countries. Their culture is a lot narrower, and it's a lot narrower. So, and they have a lot more of like standard behaviors. So I think in that way, they can be easier to know what they're going to do and how they're likely to behave when you bring them back. Whereas I think the girls from other countries, they're a lot more. It's a lot harder to just know what they're going to be like in a new environment.
Okay. Good point. I want to welcome Black Man Travels to the show. You
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. You know, I usually like you to be cammed up, man, but it's all good.
Yeah, man. You know what, man? It's like I'm working, so I can't do it. So I just wanted to step out real quick and chime in.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. I think typically when guys will go against about bringing someone back to the States, I always question them first, because first I want to know, have you ever experienced a relationship? Not a situationship, but a real relationship. And 2, have that person ever come to the country? Lucky for me, a lot of the girls that I've dated in the past had visas. So I used to invite them to come over to Miami and come chill with me. I had a Colombian chick come over to Miami. I had a chick from Brazil come over to Miami. And of course, now my new wife, who's Dominican, she came to the States.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so it's like, it really depends on how you vet the person is. 2, I only date girls who are educated, man. I'm sorry. I don't go by based on just looks. I need to know that, can you be an asset? Can you handle yourself accordingly? Because again, I want to know that if you were to come to the United States, how fast can you actually adjust and adapt to that new environment? One thing that with my Dominican wife is that when she came to the States, I showed her all my bills. Like, hey, listen, not everyone makes this type of money that I make. This is what my bill is, from light bill to mortgage and everything else. And she was quite surprised how much we're paying here in the States. Mm-hmm. I try not to sugarcoat things to her, and now she sees it. And also too, lucky for me, she when I met her, she was in college. She graduated, so she's already coming here with that go getter mindset. Like, listen, I want to get into nursing. All right, cool. What type of nursing field you want to get into? So these are the conversations that we're having. And I think a lot of guys don't take the time to really vet that person, to really figure out figure out what she really wants in life. Because again, sometimes when we travel, and it's okay, because I do that as well. We go out and have a good time. We go out to escape. But if you are looking for someone serious, really take the time to vet that person, man. See how the family structure is. See how she is under pressure. These are things that I take into consideration. Also, too, can she read? Can she write her own language? Because again, guys, a lot of these people overseas are illiterate. If you really look at how they write or how they speak and within their own language, you'd be surprised. So I think it's important that it really, one, depends who you meet and your vetting process. Take your time. Don't rush. I've seen a lot of guys who go to DR, who go to Colombia, go to Brazil, go to Thailand, and instantly after one trip, they find a wife. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're saying, well, I kind of said earlier, to kind of vet her out. Just don't take the average bar girl back to the States and not expect her to act up a little bit.
No, I mean, honestly, I tell you this, man. I used to do a lot of drop-bys. I used to come on the DR unexpectedly and surprise her. And she like, again, at the time, I was like a little, want to be sneaky about it. So I used to go to DR unexpected and surprise and see what's going on. So little stuff like that, I did those things, but I realized she was always loyal to me. And of course, and once we have a son together, it was just like, hey, listen, I don't want my child to be raised in DR. I have all the resources I need here in the States. Let me bring my son over to the United States. He could be with his brothers and his family, and also too, she could go, back and forth. So now she has that opportunity to fly back and forth between here and DR. But her goal is to go back to DR, which that's our plans within the next 10 years to really relocate to DR. But for now, she wants to come here and make that money, then eventually go back home and live there forever.
Okay. I got a super chat by my man Shah Khan with a $5 super chat, man. I really appreciate it. He says, please stop bringing Black Man Travels on. He's always complaining about Passport Bros. He hates Passport Bros. So why bring him on BMT?
Hey, I mean, honestly, I'm technically, look, if you look at my past behavior within the past 15 years of traveling, I do have a Passport Bro antics, but at the same time, I'm more mature when it comes to traveling. So yes, am I critical about the Passport Bros? Yes, I am. Because a lot of these dudes are moving around sloppy. All I'm saying, if you're going to go out there and represent us as Black men, act yourself accordingly. I'm not seeing that. So when I see that foolishness, I'm going to call it out for what it is.
Okay. Well, a lot of people travel and don't act accordingly, and every Black man has a passport, bro. So how do you define if that person is a passport, bro, or just a janky traveler?
I don't know at this point, to be honest.
Got him.
No, hold on. I see. Wait, hold on. You still owe me. Hey, BMT, you still owe me a one-on-one. You still owe me a one-on-one.
Anytime.
No, but okay, this is my thing is, like, as Black men, we already know we're under the microscope. It is what it is. Even myself. So it's just like, again, if we could take the time to educate these younger brothers or Passport Bros or whoever that wants to travel, hey, act accordingly. But my thing with the whole Passport Bro situation was just like, listen, calm down. Like, all this pumping your chest because you have a passport is not a flex. We've been doing this shit 20 years. Mm-hmm. So that's my take on it. But again, if a guy's butthurt about me criticizing, then dude, you sensitive as hell, man. It's like, bro, you mad because I'm on someone else live just critiquing and providing my 2 cents. But again, I have receipts.
Shao Kahn, don't worry. Me and Black Man Travel is going to do a 101 BMT versus BMT. All right. And I'm going to smoke him. I'm going to smoke him, all right?
Hey, I've been smoked many times, man. A lot of dudes cut me on their platform and try to smoke me, bro.
You know how we rock, man. We all.
Yeah. But I mean, but going back to, if a brother wants to bring his wife or, he has someone of interest, brother, take your time, man. There's no need to rush it. Because I'm going to tell you this, it's super expensive. You think it's like, you just fill an application in and that's it? No, the process takes about 1 year to 2 years and it's costly. Mm-hmm. So that when people say, she, you can just go there and bring them back overseas. Like, no, you can't. Especially in certain countries, the interview process is tedious. They'll sit you down and grill you. Like, make sure your response is closely aligned to her response. Just the process alone, the cost, all the bullshit that you have to go through. Guys, it's not as easy. So that's when people say, oh, don't bring them over here. For one, you need to have money. And two, you need to have time. So if you don't have neither one of those, don't even try to make an effort to bring somebody over here to the United States.
I think they're trying to weed through the deals that people make. And they've been doing that for years, right? Like, guys, people will make deals and say, hey, I pay for my paperwork, you pay for your paperwork. We'll be married on paper and you can stay in the States. Or, I think they had like the Caribbean husbands, the guys would pay the women like $6,000-$7,000.
Correct. Well, I'll tell you this, BNT. I've been offered many times, being from Miami, I'm Haitian. I've been asked many times to marry somebody to bring them over here. But keep in mind, when you do that, you are financially responsible for that person. So that person cannot apply for food stamps, Medicaid, none of that, because that's under your name. If they were to apply for that, you have to pay all that back. So that's another thing a lot of guys don't understand. Once you bring someone from the United States, from another country to the United States, you are financially responsible for that person. So again, if you're constantly struggling about taking trips and you want to bring somebody else overseas, you better have enough money to sustain that income for the next 7 years or whenever she's ready to start working again.
All right, good point. Shout out my man, Jay Clyde says, anytime someone keeps it real, people call it gatekeeping or de-policing. Shaking my damn head. Shout out my man, Jay Clyde. Jay Clyde always coming here throwing shots, man. Some of these guys hate the Passport Bros. I ain't gonna lie. They are Passport Bros. Real strange. All right. So in your opinion, Black Man Travels, you basically saying, it's weird saying my name, Black Man Travels. But anyway, in your opinion, you saying that you can bring them back to the States, just validate them more. My man Martin is saying, don't bring them back to the States. Is that what you saying, Martin?
Yeah, pretty much. I just think that, obviously if you live in the US and you work there and, that's your only option. But in general, I think if you have a girl who wants to go back to the States, that's not great. If you have a girl, she's really happy in her own country, but you have a discussion just like you would if you were in the US and you were with the girl in California and you're from New York and you guys decide, it makes the most sense to live in New York. And so you move there. If that's the case, and it's like a discussion and, you come to that agreement, I think that's okay. But I think taking a girl there and she's, that's her whole thing and she really wants to go, I don't think that's very good. And, I wanted to say something earlier. You guys were talking about how your family undermines, the typical behaviors, traditional behaviors. I actually had that. I had a Japanese girl with me in the US, and she was, all dressed up, wearing her heels and everything. And my sister said, "Oh, you don't need to get all dressed up to come and see us." And I was thinking, she's not dressed up. This is how she dresses every day. What is she doing? My sister talking about? And she knows she needs to be dressed like that if she wants to be coming around. But yeah, I just think it's not a good idea to uproot them. Women are very social. For guys, we can go to another country and we can be busy on our hustle, and that's cool with us. We just see our friends a few times a year. We talk to them on the phone sometimes. We're cool. But, for women, their social environment is so important to them.
They're like a beehive.
If you remove them from that, they feel very lost. And then, of course, if they're in a new country and your woman is fine, who's going to be the easiest people for them to start having a social life around? Of course, it's men.
Well, I think you're overcomplicating this because I've seen many men who brought their wives, and their wives are doing 10 times better than them, financially, socially, and all aspects. It really all depends on who you're dating. If you're dating someone that's super quiet, super shy, of course, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. If you date someone who's more vibrant, more go-getter, that able to actually do things for herself, it could be a whole completely different experience. Another thing you keep on mentioning is about girl. I say don't date a girl, date a woman that understands you, that's loyal to you, and that wants to be with you. It doesn't matter where you are; she's gonna be there for you. So this whole notion that, hey, just keep them where they are. I'm like, okay, unless you plan to live there within the next 2 to 3 years, that's not realistic. I live here. I have 2 sons here. I make a good living here, financially here. So I'm not going to uproot myself to go overseas to live less than what I'm living here. So
Okay,
it just makes. Go
okay,
ahead.
so well, I think both of you guys. This is not like a right or wrong answer in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah.
I think both of you guys are absolutely correct. Yeah, if a woman's a little older and she's more career minded, it's more like that. Yeah, she might not break as bad as a woman that might be 22, 23-year old without any education, still trying to find herself. But I will say, you got to know what type of social circle that you have from the get go, right? If you one of them guys that's more of an outcast or outlander of your family, and you come from a family full of hood rats, don't bring
Yes.
your Asian wife into that circle, right? But she's gonna become, Taquisha, the Asian version. We've all seen that. So Martin is correct in that assessment. Like, make sure. But Black Man Travels is right in his assessment too. If you got a woman that's a doctor or a lawyer or something, and she lives in the DR, and she comes to America with you, and you guys are kind of doing a relationship thing, financial thing, she might be more concrete and more set in her ways more so. She's a grown woman. She's in her 30s. She's you kind of good on that. So both of you guys are right in a sense. It's really about validating the woman, but just keep in mind that a woman can be highly influenced by our dysfunctional ass, wild ass culture too.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind is just like anything else, there's nothing guaranteed. There's a possibility that yes, we may not even be together for the next 5 or 10 years. I don't know, but at the same time, I have a son. I've always told her like, hey, if things don't work out between us, just like how it is in my past relationship, I'm gonna make sure my kids are taken care of. Because at the end of the day, I don't want my child to be raised in DR. He could go back to DR and have, see his family, everything else, but he'll be in a way better position being here than being overseas. So, and plus with her, she already knows what she wants to do in life. Hey, let's do this together. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, fellas, it's the greatest feeling when I come home and I see my wife and I see my son. Dude, that gives me motivation every single day to go.
Hey, they calling you the Passportbros Steve Harvey.
Hey, you know what? It's all good because at the end of the day, most of the dudes can't even compare to me when it comes to receipts. So everyone who knows me, I've been moving around. I'm actually heading back to Colombia for the Afro-Colombian Festival in August. Can't wait for that. Dude, I'm still moving and still doing things, man.
Child to D out there in Cali, man.
When you're talking about these women, who are well educated, I mean, essentially that's what I'm getting at. Because if you have a woman who's well educated and she can do well in her own country, then she is not likely to be so excited about going to the U.S. because she's already set where she is.
Not
so
everyone.
I think in that respect, I agree with you because it's normally the women who don't have a lot of prospects in their own country who were the ones that really want to get out. Because if you're well educated
and you're right, and
you want to go to another country, then a lot of times it's more difficult because they don't recognize your credentials as easily. But I know a Taiwanese girl who she went to France, lived with her boyfriend, did her master's, then she got a scholarship to do her PhD, and now she has a really great job. Now she's an example of the kind of woman that that does very well, and but she was doing very well in her own country too. So that's really how what I mean when I'm talking about it's not a good idea for these women to get involved or to bring these women who really want to leave.
But the thing is, most guys.
Hold on. Let me. He left it. My bad. I don't know if you exited on me or not, but apologies on that. Black Man Travels. Sean Khan with $2 super chat says, the pressure of society, you met her, is what makes her not divorce you there. When you bring her to the West, where it's encouraged to divorce your husband with no consequences, you might be lucky, but why risk it? That's a very good point. As a matter of fact, what is like the divorce laws and ratio out there? And let's just start with you, Martin, in Japan. Is it like kind of like normal divorce, or it's kind of like outside the norm per se?
Yeah, Japan has a very, very low divorce rate. Okay. I'm not sure the numbers, but it's quite low. It's maybe like 10% or 20%. It's somewhere around there. It's very rare.
Okay. What about China, Danny?
Good question. I know
China's is almost like 50%. I was just looking this up like a couple of weeks ago. But the thing is that you can't really trust the Chinese statistics that much because of I can't remember, maybe like 5 to 10 years ago, the government changed some rule that said that if you were married, there was like a limit on how many homes or how much property you could own. So married couples got divorced so that they could own more property.
Oh, okay.
And in Japan also, actually, the divorce rate has gone up recently because they made it so that if you divorce your husband, you can still have a right to some amount of his pension and that sort of thing. Whereas before, if you divorced him, you didn't get anything. So, because it's very typical in Japan that women don't work, or if after they get married, and if they do, they just work part-time. So they're kind of relying on that family structure to provide for their retirement. So when they changed that, some women who didn't want to, who got divorced, they were in their 60s or whatever, they got divorced finally. So the number kind of went up a little bit more than.
Are you
before.
looking to?
Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a cue ready. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's as they change the laws, the divorce rates are changing because for in China, in one way, it's for preservation of family wealth, and in Japan, it's because women were more able to take care of them, to be financially secure even once they get divorced in retirement. So things are changing.
Okay, cool. And I want to play this clip. I don't know if you guys have heard about this real quick. Hopefully the clip is queued up. Kenya has came into this whole little battle of divorce. Let me show this right here. Hold on, where we at? Present. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but Kenya just kind of stepped out with some bold new laws when it comes to divorce. I'll let you pull up in Kenya.
Now, as a spouse, you are not automatically entitled to 50% share of the matrimonial property upon divorce. This is according to a judgment by the Supreme Court of Kenya that has stated that each party should leave the marriage with property he or she acquired individually during the union based on proof of contribution.
The Supreme Court judgment has settled the contentious issue in the country's family law about sharing of matrimonial property upon divorce. The Apex Court has now ruled that upon divorce, each party should leave the marriage with the property he or she acquired during the union. According to the judgment, one who wants a share of the matrimonial wealth upon divorce must prove his individual contribution to the creation of the share of wealth he or she is laying claim on. An individual's contribution may be direct, such as financially, or indirect, such as running of the welfare of the home or caring for children, as the other spouse works to earn to pay for the property. The 5-judge bench led by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu also ruled that the test to determine the extent of contribution of a party is one of a case-to-case basis. This latest judgment has elicited mixed reactions among Kenyans.
Hawa wanawake walikuwa wana take advantage juu manake mtu anaezolewa baada ya kama mwaka mmoja hivi anatafuta kisababu hivi alafu anaachana tayari na ule mume anakimbilia kotini.
Kuna watu walikuwa wamefanya marriage.
Okay, so I thought they were going to speak English on the results, but that's what's going on in Kenya, fellas. So that might be a win for the Passport Bros over there, or at least the men over there in that country.
Yeah, Kenya's where I hear the most good things about in Africa. It seems like the place where apparently American men would probably enjoy the most.
Most definitely, man. All right. Any other words? 3 plots of land are mine alone. Kenya women for the win. Shout out to Kenya. All right, Kenya representing, man. Hopefully
Are
some of
these
these
guys
women
gonna
will
actually go to Kenya though? Like, are these guys like guys always talk about Africa? Like, are guys really gonna like? Is Africa really convenient for men to relocate to, like Kenya? Like, I think a lot of guys that say
You know
this
what?
stuff, they get hyped up. And
I've heard a lot of good things about Kenya. I've met guys out here that go back and forth from the DR to Kenya. So, who knows, man? Who knows? All right. Kenya still knows their respective roles. Kenya is the new wave. Kenya is great for us FBAs. But they say they're protesting like crazy in Kenya right now too. So the women must be protesting out there. They want to come up. They want to come up, man. Female nation is a beast, guys. I don't know. Martin, you've been all over the world, all over Asia and everything. Is it just a raw female nature that guys can't run away from, in your opinion?
Which part? I couldn't hear you. The signal broke up a little bit.
No, it's all good. Like you've been to a lot of countries all over the world. Is it just like a base female nature that guys just cannot run away from no matter where they go?
Is what a base female nature? Sorry, that's the part I missed.
Hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
Beehiving and just
Yeah,
feminism.
so I know that like people get really upset about this hypergamy thing, and I don't know why it's people get really upset about it. I mean, to me, okay, so the way that I look at it is that there's a lot more metrics when women look at men. There's a lot more metrics than men usually use when we're looking at women, and so guys are looking at things like, oh, okay, well, they're thinking that the guy, just because he's taller or wealthier, is going to be better or is going to do better than me, for example. Actually, I'll just use me as an example. I was with an Indonesian girl, and she was saying that before me, she dated a black guy who was 6'2", and he made six figures. Actually, maybe like 200K or something like that. And he was living in Jakarta. And while all that sounds really great, but she broke up with him because he was really insecure. And the way this insecurity came out was he was telling her that he didn't want her to like go out looking nice. He didn't want her to be looking sexy. He got upset when other dudes would approach her at the bar. And I'm 5'3". So, and I'm not making 200K, but she broke up with that guy. Not because she met me. This is two separate things. But the point is that there are more metrics. So when girls are looking at a guy to date, they're looking at the kind of lifestyle they want to lead, because the guy that they're with is a big determinant of the lifestyle they're going to have. And so for some women, different women want different kinds of lifestyles. Some women don't want a really expensive lifestyle. Some women don't want a corporate type of lifestyle. Some women want to have a much more chill, relaxed lifestyle. So, because of that, I don't really think of it as hypergamy as being that important, because I'm not competing with other guys on the same, the girls that are going to match me are not going to match another guy. So the key is, how can I show what I'm like and what being with me is going to be like in the best possible way, so that she can go, oh, you know what? That's more what I'm looking for. When you don't do that, yeah, girls are going to choose on, the most basic metrics, because they don't have any other information to go on, which is the problem with, Tinder, for example, is there's not a lot of metrics to go on. But when you go out and you meet girls in real life, then you can communicate a lot more about yourself, and they can see that you're a good option for them. And so it's not, so this whole discussion about hypergamy, I'm not really, I think people are being kind of narrow-minded or oversimplifying the situation.
Okay, that's a good point. My man T-Mac says, I see nothing wrong with a woman who sees a man who is financially stable. She should not expect the man to always bail her out on ball out on her behalf. Shots at my man with the best of us. $2 super chat says, you are always competing for life. Shout to the best of us. Guys be changing their names. I'll be looking at the profile. I'm like, okay, I think I know that guy. All right. Men will always compete. That is very true. I think that a lot of us that come from America, especially in our demographic or generation, that grew up on the R&B, like I said before, the Disney movies, and still kind of somewhat believe in the romance, are looking for women that aren't looking for necessarily finances and support. Guys want something a little bit more different, I think. But in some cases, in these countries, it's all about the money, 100%. She's with you. She's traditional, but she's definitely with you, for your resources. And some guys don't want to recognize that. They want it to be able to obtain a woman off their swag and their looks. And I'm like, look, man, you in Thailand, bro. You in Pattaya. It doesn't really matter. They coming for the dollars, brother.
I think that when it comes to that, you have to have a certain minimum level, right? But once you're above that, minimum base level, then the other things come into play. For most women, like if you're making, let's say you're making 60K versus a guy who's making 100K. Now, it really comes down to more how you spend that money. Not because you can have 100K, but maybe you don't take her to interesting places, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas you can have 60K and you take her to interesting places that don't cost a lot, but because it's interesting, she's going to have a good time and enjoy it. It's not that, okay, I'll say for China is a special case where they really do care about money, but most other countries in Asia, I would say it's not about the money. It's about what the money how that money impacts their experience of being with you and their expectations for the kind of life they can have. And so it's all about that and setting that up well. So, I think that, I knew a guy who was married to a Japanese girl, and he was talking about how because he had he worked online, he and his wife could travel really cheaply because they didn't have to go during peak seasons because she didn't work. And so they could enjoy a better lifestyle at a lower price. And she didn't think, oh, well, I want to have more money. She was happy to be enjoying the lifestyle. It was about the lifestyle and not about the money. And I think that a lot of guys get those two things confused and they just think about the money because it's easier, right? It's easier just to go out and buy a $5,000 bag for a girl than it is to come up with some nice birthday plan that she really enjoys and is specific for her. And, guys, a lot of times guys just want to be lazy. Just today, I saw a girl, she posted on her Instagram a screenshot of a website that her boyfriend had made that was like a website that was like showing all their time together and the things they'd done together. And it was like really, sweet. Now, I wouldn't do that, but that's an example of something that doesn't cost much money. But then she's going around showing all her friends, and all her friends are going to say, oh, he's such a great guy. He's so good to you. And it doesn't cost much. So, if you use that creativity, you don't need so much money.
Oh, good point. Good point. Well, guys, it's been another classic show. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys want to speak on, should you bring it back to the States to sum it all up, you can do that. I'll start off with you, Martin. Are you there? I think everybody's went on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, something happened. Can you tell me what I missed? What was it you said?
Oh no, I'm summing up the show. Show. So you want to speak on should you bring it back to the States?
Oh yeah,
So
I mean, I think it's
basically.
Yeah, I mean, I generally think it's not a good idea. It just makes things a lot more complicated. I think we can adapt much more easily to living in their country than they can to ours, just because of the women care about their social environment so much more, and being around their friends and their family is so much more important to them than it is for us. So generally speaking, not recommended.
Okay, all right. A man flight madness in the building.
Yeah, I mean, the story I had, like, I had a Russian girl. She just got to my city. This was during like the peak lockdowns where there weren't many people there. But basically, she just got to town and she was like kind of all mine until like I made the stupid mistake of like taking her out to the nightclub and like when she saw that there were other options, other foreign options, her behavior automatically kind of changed. And I think when you take a woman out of like her kind of environment where you have the power and you take her to an environment where you're like have less power and influence, you might see her behavior suddenly switch. That girl who is treating you like a king, as soon as she gets some more options, she might change up a little bit. So yeah, I definitely don't plan on taking any girls back to the States. I've dated girls who are kind of like outcasts, who don't really fit into their own culture here, especially here in China. And those women are usually not easy to deal with. They're probably outcasted for a reason. But yeah, I'm definitely team stay over here. Don't take them to your home. Just take them. They can visit, like look in a short time. But even then, I'd rather just travel to nearby Asian countries. Yeah, that's my stance.
Good point. They say you hit the nail on the head, man. Very good point. Definitely want to thank the guys in the chat and my guys on the panel, Martin and my man Flight Madness. Guys, before we go though, I want to show you, tell you about my new channel. All right, BMG TV. Okay, this is a blog we just did right here, guys, about Farrah Cologne out here in San Domingo. I know a lot of guys are interested in the vlog, so BMTV, the link is in the description. All right. Did a real good video out here in San
Step
Domingo.
into a land where vibrant culture meets breathtaking beauty. Picture yourself walking along this beautiful Malecon, enjoying the stunning coastal views and feeling the warm Caribbean breeze. Join us as we dive into the heart of the Dominican culture. We'll try a traditional drink rumored to boost sexual prowess, savor delicious local cuisine, take a leisurely stroll along the scenic Malecon, and enjoy breathtaking views from the Ferris wheel. Plus, we'll explore the historical Zonio Colonial, where every street tells a story of the past. But beyond the beauty and culture lies a deeper, more complex history. This is where Christopher Columbus' controversial legacy comes into play. Christopher Columbus may be a hero to some, but a symbol of destruction to others. His arrival 500 years ago marked the beginning of a new era, one filled with both discovery and devastation. We'll visit the monumental Farrah Cologne, a beacon of his contentious legacy, and delve into the complex and often troubling history of his impact on the Americas. All right, so I'm here with my friend Christy. She's going to take me to
Farrah Cologne,
which is like Christopher Columbus museum / I guess you want to say grave or cemetery or something. Not really a cemetery, but more like a museum.
Yeah. I am Dominican, but I haven't been there before. So I'm going to explore this and ask him. So let's go to the metro.
This is
all right, guys. So make sure to join. Hold on, let me close that out. The new YouTube channel, I got a last super chat of the day, but the link is in the description, guys. You make sure to join the BMT Travels vlog channel. I got one more super chat by Mr. Travolta with a $5 super pound. Martin is right, but it doesn't apply in the West. A lot of girls want to live the Instagram lifestyle. Thoughtful gifts aren't really appreciated. All right. Shout out to Mr. Travolta. You want to answer that real quick before we go, bro?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's not only true in the West. That's true of many women in especially Korea, China, Thailand. I mean, a lot of Asia is infected with this too. So that's true. They do want that, but many of them want that. But I think there's plenty of attractive women who don't want that, or don't. I shouldn't say they don't want it, but there are plenty of attractive women who care about other things more. And that's the thing, is that there's enough women out there that you can find some attractive women who will be into what you're offering if you actually are offering something. That's right. Because I think a lot of guys, they come out and they think they don't need to have anything or offer anything. And it's like, you need to provide the girl with a compelling experience. It doesn't need to be the same compelling experience that everybody else is providing, or that you just can provide with money, but you need to provide a compelling experience. Just like I was using the website example, the girl posted that to Instagram. You know, her friends are going to be really impressed that her boyfriend is really great. Now, it's not a trip to the Maldives. That's true. But she's still going to get that kind of status that she is seeking from posting on social media. So these expensive trips, that's just one way to get it.
You make a very good point, man. Like when you say about the experience, like it's cool that even though, like in the video I just showed you, she's Dominican, but she's never been to Farrakhan. So you're giving them different experiences than going to the club or to the bar. You know, you're exploring the country together, even though it's her country. And what makes it even more better is, let's say you got a Thai chick that's never been to Cambodia, because a lot of people don't go to Cambodia, or vice versa. A Cambodian woman that doesn't go to Thailand. And you do something a little different. That's not necessarily you spend a whole bunch of money trying to show off or leave with your wallet. It's just you giving her a different experience, right? You take the Thai girl to Cambodia, you take the Cambodian girl to Thailand, and you show them around, and you're exploring yourself. And it's the most wonderful thing about this space that a lot of guys, I think, are missing out on, because so many people are only here for a short period of time, and they kind of dealing with the party girls or the bar girls, is the fact that it's nothing better than meeting a woman, you hitting it off, liking each other, and going somewhere new for both y'all first new experience. Like, I can't wait to go to Angkor Wat and to the temples with the Cambodian girl who's never been there, right? That's a whole nother experience that people are just kind of missing out on. So you're very right, man. Great show, guys. Appreciate you coming on, Martin and Flight Madness. Till next Tuesday, we out.
Thanks for having me
See
on.
ya.
Appreciate it.